dancers lined up. We're working on some congo and steel drum performances. So it's those types of things that those extra dollars help to not only expand the events, but bring more events and bring entertainment to those events.
We are the first city to have a recreational esports program. We won the 2020 Arizona Parks and Recs Association Award for Best Sports Program. Global Water's contribution gives us the funds to start this program, which we have over 400 unique players that have enrolled in the program so far. It also allowed us to switch to an online platform once the pandemic hit. So we were able, about 120 people signed up online, and they were able to participate in our online programming, and it was awesome. If there was a timing to prove the value of this program and the versatility, it was then. The pandemic hits, the coaches already were like, let's just switch it online. Within the next weekend, everybody else was locking down. We had 22 people in our tournament. It's a way for kids that are good at video games to be competitive at something they're good at, to meet friends with the same interest. I mean, I didn't meet any friends that play video games, but now you can, and you can build those lasting relationships thanks to a program like this.
Rec in the Greenbelt is a Parks and Recreation trailer on wheels. Has an esports component, but also has a bunch of different Parks and Recreation games, up from Connect 4 to Frisbee toss. We have golf. We just have a bunch of different things offered in that. I do believe Rec in the Greenbelt did a great job connecting the community. We not only provided it here, but we connected with Maricopa Unified School District and our charters by providing this trailer at their schools and interacting with their students as well. Ever since we started the program about 2 years ago, I would have to say we had about 1,000 plus participants participate. Global Water was a huge contribution to UT and enrichment programs, and they helped us out a lot.
Maricopa's Safe in the Swim program provided free swim lessons for 197 kids. And what was cool about this program, as we tracked the progress, we realized about 90% of them did not know how to swim, and time they were done, they were safer in the water. They can float, they can do some swimming, they could jump in the water, self-rescue themselves, get out of the water. This allowed opportunity for kids that not normally would be able to get to the pool to do swim lessons and things like that.
So today we're at Pecana Park. We're actually standing here at the fitness court today, which is a national fitness campaign where they try to implement outdoor fitness courts in different areas to bring fitness closer to communities. I mean, fitness really shut down during the pandemic. For us to be able to continue to provide fitness activities to the community was huge. We definitely could not have done the fitness court without Global Water. It obviously gets really hot here in the summer, and Global Water, they directly contributed to the shade structure here of the fitness court. Now it's utilized 365 days a year. Also, the lovely decals that we have all around the fitness court as well was a direct contribution from Global Water. We could not have done any of that without them.
On our wall here, we have different sizes of stars that represent different amounts of donations, and Global Water is our largest star, our largest donor. Your contribution to the library here has allowed me to continue to do what I love to do, and it also helps us to enhance our programs by expanding the opportunities for more people to participate, having more staff involved in these programs or volunteers. And this allows us to reach more of our community. It makes you feel good when you hear this pleasant buzz in the library. It just makes me feel good to know that we do have people that are utilizing and gaining some type of skill or furthering their reading. Thank you, Global Water, for all that you've done to help support the library and our community, and we look forward to future opportunities with you.
Thank you guys, Global Water. We could not have done this fitness court without you. The city of Maricopa thanks you, and the community definitely thanks you as well.
Thank you, Global Water. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you, Global Water. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you, Global Water. We couldn't have done it without you.
None of this would have been possible. None of these programs would have been possible without the support of Global Water and without their vision to want to do something in our community. So I'm super grateful. I know all the participants that have been impacted by these programs and events are grateful for that opportunity, even if they don't even know Global Water's role in it. So thank you, Global Water, and we look forward to continued partnership with our community.
This is my friend.
I love painting. That's my favorite medium. I gravitate towards them. I love paintings. I don't care what type it is. I like to look at them really close up, and it kind of drives people at the museum nuts because I'm the one with her face practically in the painting, but I love to see how they manipulated the brushstrokes and what the two colors are they mix together that make, that flow and, is there texture to it. It started way back when I started painting on rocks. Rocks are easy to find. They're free, and I remember my mom and I would go down some riverbeds and we'd pick some out and I'd wash them and clean them. And there was a book that was like Painting on Rocks Volume 1. I was all about it. I got 2 and 3 and 4. And that's where the painting started. One of the things I enjoy the most is thinking you can't do something. Something's gonna be too difficult. Can I make that? And then just trying and working at it. And when you do it, it's uplifting and it's exciting and you feel strong and powerful and capable. And for me, there was just always that kind of tactile ability, but it wasn't always good. And it's something you just have to work at, and the more you work at it, you get better. Honestly, whenever I would see some type of public artwork, I would always think that I'm not the artist for that. I'm not good enough. I'm an okay artist. I'm pretty decent, but I'm not that kind of artist. I could never do something like that. So when it came up, I thought, well, why can't I be that kind of artist? I push my kids every day and I tell them, you can do these things and you have power and you have the talent. You never know if you don't try. And since I lost my mom, my kind of goal is to live your life with as few regrets as possible. So I did it too. I told them about this project and I said, I'll give you extra credit if you do it. I'll give you even more extra credit if you get picked. And they said, well, where's yours? Let me show you.
Come on, rider, 'cause I long to talk to you. Come on, rider, 'cause your face are carved in blue.
I want you to make sure you know all of these horses were designed and painted by local artists. I don't know if you're aware of how spectacular our local artistry in many different facets. It's amazing what we have in here in the city of Maricopa, and this is just the beginning of a spectacular art community. So I'm really glad for all of you to be here and share this with us.
My reference images are all images I took at the Desert Botanical Gardens, and I want it to look kind of photorealistic, but also have a kind of paint by numbers quality to it. And I went and chose specific paint colors that I knew would be the perfect color I would want or would mix together to make the perfect colors I would want and to give me a different variation. So there's a lot of technical aspect thinking about what the base materials are that you need to end up getting your end result. So there's a lot of thinking. There's also, all right, how much space, how much surface area will this take up? Do I get...
Hello, Maricopa. It's me, Sergeant Hal Kuger. I'm here with my friend Maria Johnson, the Crisis Director from Horizon Health and Wellness here in...
We will begin with our invocation, which is going to be given by Jim Irving, Commissioner Irving, and Commissioner Frank will do our salute to the flag. I'll pretend I'm a flag. Have a flag. All right, there we go. All right. Okay, we're ready for our roll call.
Commissioner LaFall. Commissioner Yoakum.
Here.
Commissioner Sharp. Vice Chair Huggins, or Chair Huggins. Commissioner Irving. Here. Commissioner Frank.
Here.
Commissioner Robertson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Call to the public. If you wish to speak, please complete a speaker card and submit it to the chairman prior to the start of the meeting. The procedures to follow if you address the commission are: commission requests that you express your ideas in 5 minutes or less and refrain from any personal attacks or derogatory statements about any city employee, a fellow citizen, or anyone else, whether in the audience or not. The chairman will limit discussion whenever he deems such an action appropriate to the proper conduct of the meeting. I do have one agenda speaker card which relates to 22-10, and the call to the public with this particular speaker card will be addressed when we get to 22-10. Otherwise, is there anyone else who would like to come to the and take advantage of the? Very good. Would you please state your name and your address, please? There should be a button there.
Yeah. Brittany Pizzola, 41160 West Somerset Drive, Maricopa. So my concerns are about traffic and pedestrian safety, especially with the new businesses, church, and townhomes that are going in the Glenwild area. The speed limit on Porter needs to be reduced to 35 between Honeycutt and Adams. There are 3 schools on that stretch of road, plus Pecana Park, and there's constant traffic coming out from those areas. People drive way too fast, oftentimes over 45. The addition of the church will mean more pedestrian traffic, and the church and businesses will increase vehicle traffic, making it dangerous for our students and other pedestrians. The church and businesses that are proposed to be by Circle K have exits and entrances super close to a major intersection, which means traffic on Porter will need to slow down more often to allow people to enter and exit. And that is easier to do if the cars are only going 35 instead of 45. Also, the timing of the pedestrian crossing light on Porter and Allen Stephen Parkway needs to be changed. I walk my daughter to preschool and I walk my son to elementary school, and I can't get halfway across it before it starts flashing. According to the sign, cars can proceed with caution when it flashes red, and I have almost been run over several times by impatient drivers crossing on the flashing lights. I have also witnessed several students after school almost get run over with the impatient drivers who are in a hurry to get wherever they're going. After it stops flashing, it goes full on red for like 15-20 seconds, which confuses drivers as well, and it makes it hard for pedestrians to know what's going on. Third, the school zone signs and signs for school crossings need to be put up along Porter, Bolin, and Allen Stevens, anywhere there's a school. I don't see any of those except for near the school over on Honeycutt. I can't remember the name of it right now. The one with the flashing lights that actually has a flashing speed limit sign. But we need more school zone signs around our schools, not just around the public schools. We need to make our students a priority by reducing the speed limit and also by putting up signs and making it easier for pedestrians to walk in that area. I'm not the only walker. I see tons of people walking, and I don't exactly feel safe crossing Porter. And I don't feel safe for my 8-year-old to walk to Pathway from my house. It's a 10-minute walk, and I wouldn't let him walk alone because of the traffic that's driving so fast and because of the inappropriate timing of the crosswalk light. If we could maybe think about addressing these, I would appreciate that. I also have something to say about the townhomes, but I will wait until that time. I just don't have a speaker card. Please excuse my tardiness. I couldn't get a babysitter. My husband's stuck on the 347. You know all that jazz. Thank you for your time, and if I could speak later, that would be great.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda. By the way, I don't know if anybody had. My name is Ted Yoakum. I'm not Linda Huggins. Linda is delayed in traffic, and hopefully she'll be getting here shortly. Next, we're looking at the minutes. We're looking for approval of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes from September 26, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If no discussion, let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving along to the agenda items. Regular agenda item number 5.1, DRP 22-02. A request by David Bone of BFH Group requesting review and approval of site plan, landscape, photometric, and elevation plans for a proposed 293 townhome-style unit, multi-story, multifamily development and approximately 16.1 acres, located at the southeast corner of Stonegate Road and Allen Stevens Parkway, which is north of the Maricopa Casa Grande Highway in the city of Maricopa. This is for discussion and action. Would staff like to make a presentation?
Yes, sir, I would.
Do we have to open this to the public? Now?
No, I don't believe. This is continued. The public hearing was a previous hearing.
Okay.
So welcome. Hello, commissioners that have made it tonight. I appreciate it. I'm Byron Easton, senior planner here for the city. This is the continued from the last planning and zoning from September 26th as a follow-up. So in coordination with the applicant, David Bond of BFH Group, staff is here to present a follow-up presentation to our Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on September 26th. It will be open for action. So at the last hearing, the commissioners requested several changes and additions and wanted to see some things that were left out from the past hearing. So I'm here tonight to present those items to the commissioners so that they can act on this case. So the first thing that was pointed out was the lack of parking on the northern part of this development. It was brought, the commissioners were worried about visitors coming to the site and having to traverse the entirety of the project in order to access the units to the north. So Mr. Bond and the applicants added those parking stalls, as you can see, highlighted, circled, just on the north side. So those are all new parking stalls that were added. In addition, it was brought to our attention that there weren't enough pedestrian gates, especially on the eastern portion of the property. So the developer added a pedestrian gate at the northeast corner of the site, and then also the southeast corner. There's two pedestrian gates, one of which was actually there before, but just wasn't well marked on the site plan. However, the one in the corner there is another new pedestrian gate that was added right at the very top of the screen. Another thing that was brought up is we didn't really have a very good renderings of what it looked like looking down from the side, looking down, especially along those units that don't have doors that are facing the streets. So on the site plan, it all looks very linear, and it wasn't a very good representation of what the buildings actually look like. So I think this rendering does a very good job of showing you that there is quite a bit of undulation, the different materials, the different heights, the different awnings popping out, the balconies. I think it does a good job of providing some undulation and kind of avoiding the boxy appearance that may appear on the site plan. Clubhouse elevations. Somehow these were omitted. I did see them at one point. I'm not sure how they didn't make it into the final exhibits. However, as you can see, the clubhouse, it's basically mirroring the buildings themselves, which we like to see. We like to see some continuity between the buildings and the clubhouse. But as you can see, lots of different materials, different colors, good articulation, good undulation of the buildings themselves. And then the last and final item was, especially the western-facing buildings not having enough awnings for the shade, as the sun's setting. So they did a good job. They added quite a bit more awnings throughout the elevations for both the fourplex and the sixplex buildings. So with that said, we did find the submittal items to be substantially compliant with our zoning code, and we found that the items requested by the commissioners on September 26 were adequately revised or added. We recommend approval of DRP 2202 subject to the conditions set in the staff report. That's all I have. If you have any questions or comments, please, I'm here for you.
Okay. Public hearing is still open, is that correct? No. It's not?
Mr. Chair, it's not a public hearing, but I believe the individual that spoke at the call of public had submitted a speaker card or wanted to submit a speaker card to speak on the item.
I don't have a speaker card on this particular item. Is there anyone else who would like to make any comments? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I was supposed to comment for Tina, who's not able to be here, but I'm not sure if it's for this item or the other item. She didn't say. It's the next one. Is it for Tina? Tina's not here.
Okay. Mr. Chair, then it sounds like there's no public comment necessary, so you could move on to discussion.
Okay. Do the commissioners have any comments, questions, concerns? Do we have anybody?
Oh, yeah. Ready for discussion?
I am, but do we have anybody on remote tonight?
No, I do not believe there's anyone online right now.
Okay. Mr. Irving.
Yeah, just a clarification. In one of the reports, it talks about 318 townhomes, and another one talks about 293. I just wonder which one's right. Or which
Commissioner Irving, Commissioner Yoakum, so the 293 is the correct number, and that has been reflected in the updated staff report that was attached to this latest, for the latest hearing. All those numbers were corrected.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure, for the record, we know which one is which. No, that's all, the only comment. It seems like you did respond to the 5 items that we brought up, so I have no other questions other than that.
Frank? Commissioner Frank?
So, yeah, the gates, can we go back to those details? Southeastern, well, that one. It looks like that's opening right into the retention area. Is there a planned path or anything there?
Commissioner Frank, that was the recommended location from the commissioners at the last hearing. I don't agree with that location. I think it would be adequate to have the pedestrian gate at the south east corner there where it says emergency only gate. So if commissioners would be okay, we could strike that location.
I not remembering 100%, but it seems like the spirit of the comment was not so much for pedestrian access, but just for access along there to get to this other commercial development. Is there any way to either modify the location slightly, add a trail, or modify that retention area?
We could modify it slightly. As for adding a trail off-site, that would not be up to the developer, but however, future development for the commercial area certainly would be asked to connect to any existing pedestrian access areas.
Yeah, because I just don't think that's a safe location if they're trying to traverse the slope of that retention.
Commissioner Frank, I'd like to remind the commissioners that we will be looking at this preliminary plat. Will be coming in front of you. So we'll make that change, and then when we review it again at the preliminary plat stage, then we'll make sure that that change is made.
Okay, that sounds good. And then for the renderings, one of my concerns that I had before was when looking down the drive aisles. I was hoping to see a rendering of what that looked like, not just this one.
So Commissioner Frank, Commissioners, you have to use your imagination a little bit. This does replicate the same elevations that you would have along those drive aisles that you were referring to. So just have to use our imagination a little bit.
Does it? Because there's no balconies in the drive aisles, are there?
So I believe you were referring to this, let's see if I have the site plan up. Yep, I was looking for the southern site plan here. So this is showing the in between the buildings. So as you're looking down from the traversing roads, the roads that run alongside the buildings, as you're looking as it would be east or west, this is the viewpoint that it would be shown. But if you look at the actual elevations themselves, you'll also notice that both sides of the building are going to have very similar undulation, materials, colors, etc.
Okay. We're asking an engineer to use his imagination on an architectural rendering. I don't know. And then go back to the parking, please. We added parking stall. Okay, I see it now.
16 spaces.
Okay. All right, those are my questions.
Commissioner Robertson?
I do appreciate the effort that the applicant and staff put together to revisit this on our continuation of this case. I do appreciate that. There was some concern about the linear view or the linear appearance of the buildings. We didn't really put that down as we wanted it to change, but as a result of that conversation in our last meeting, I went out to the, lack of a better word, the stackable apartments we're building out on 238, and they're pretty linear also, with the exception on the corners. They put a building on a 45 angle on each corner. It really made a difference in how you observe the buildings. May not be possible here, but just wanted to throw that back out there that we did ask to consider something that might help with the linear view of barracks type arrangement going down through the alleys there and through the streets. Not a big deal, but just something to keep in mind if there's an opportunity for them as we move through the process to switch that up a little bit. That'd be great. Not a requirement, not asking for a stipulation on that. But I do appreciate you guys going back and sitting down and cooperating. It does show that sometimes a second look results in some good things, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
My only comment, I was concerned when we took a look at this last month. That was the number of units that brought up, so I'm glad to see that we got that straightened out. It is 193.
293.
Further discussion?
Yep.
If not, I think could I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve DRP 2202.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, 5.2 GPA 22-10, public hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall discuss and take action on a request for a minor general plan amendment on approximately 1.69 acres, effectively changing the future land use designation from high-density residential, HDR, to employment, E. The site is generally located south of the southeast corner of West Honeycutt Road and North Porter Road, and this is for discussion and action. Are we going to open the call to the public on this issue now? Public hearing? I do have one speaker card.
Mr. Chair, if I might, it might help if staff presents first. Might answer a couple questions. Or
Sorry about that.
No worries. Good evening, Commissioners, Commissioner Yoakum, members of the Commission. I'm Alex Bosworth, Assistant Planner here with the City of Maricopa. And tonight I have a general plan amendment and rezone case for a commercial development. This is a request by Alpine Development Partners for review and approval of a general plan amendment, a minor amendment, and a concurrent zoning rezone for a proposed commercial development. The site's located approximately just south of the southeast corner of Porter and Honeycutt, just south of the Circle K. As you can see on the site plan, site acreage is about 3.62 acres. It's currently vacant. So the proposal here is to simply bring it up for zoning from the previous zoning code to the new zoning code. So it'll go from CB2, general commercial, which was the Pinal County zoning that we inherited, to general commercial, which is the equivalent zoning district. And for the general plan, we're going to bring it up from the high-density residential land use designation, which was in place due to a previous development that was approved, though that one did not come into fruition. So it'll go from high-density residential to employment to adequately cover the site in the right designation. As you can see here, this is the general plan map. The site is partially in the high-density residential designation, so it'll bring it up to employment after this proposed amendment. In terms of zoning, we are simply bringing up the current Pinal County zoning to the city zoning, so it will be an equivalent zoning district that is proposed from CB2 general business to GC general commercial. And as a conceptual site plan seen above, the applicant is currently looking to place 2 new buildings, commercial shells. There'll be multi-tenant buildings for numerous proposed commercial developments, small businesses, and so on. The final site plan will be presented under its own development review permit case, so this is just for context only. In terms of the criteria for approval, staff finds that the applicant did meet all of the criteria set forth in the zoning code. It is consistent with the general plan. It is necessary to achieve a balance of a certain zoning district, and the amendment will promote growth of the city in an orderly fashion. In terms of public comment, the applicant did fulfill their public notification requirements. They had a neighborhood meeting on October 4th. Around 9 people attended. The applicant stated that they were all in favor and just had general questions and concerns about the site. On October 24th, which is tonight, is the public hearing, and no public comments were received by staff at this time. Staff recommends approval of GPA 2210 and approval of rezone zoning case 2207, subject to the conditions set in the staff report. These are 2 separate items that require separate public hearings and separate motions for approval. And that concludes my presentation for tonight.
Okay. Now, do we go to the call to the public on this issue? Public hearing.
Madam.
See, I'm in the county, when you go to the county meetings, they call it the call to the public, sorry. We do have 1 speaker card.
Yeah.
Leon Potter.
Chairman, I believe you have to officially open the public hearing prior to calling the speaker
Okay,
card.
the public hearing is now open. $6:25.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. I'd like to put my support behind changing the general plan amendment from high zone residential to employment business. We definitely do need jobs in Maricopa, and this would help in that regard. With that note, I want to, if I may tag on with the prior speaker, though I do think the traffic issues on Porter Road definitely need to be addressed in either case. The 5-point plan that was given, I think, are a very good start to that. I don't drive on Porter Road myself. I used to take my son to Leading Edge Academy. Now he attends A+, so I'm able to take another road there. But the only reason I avoid it because I know how bad the traffic is, and for pedestrians and drivers alike. So I support the 5 points spoken regarding the traffic, but I also support the general plan being amended for commercial use. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Would you state your name and address again, please?
Brittany Pizzola, 41160 West Somerset Drive, Maricopa. I wasn't able to attend the neighborhood meeting. I was out of the town, or otherwise I would have. My house was one house away from getting a letter to be notified. My neighbor got one, I didn't. I live right behind there, and I am thankful that you guys are considering changing it from apartments to commercial. I don't feel that it was an appropriate place for an apartment building right next to the school. And I am glad that we have more space for commercial businesses. But I do really hope that you will consider changing the speed limit because of all the entrances and exits that are going in there. I also had a question. Was there only one entrance into that little area? Was there only one entrance and exit?
There were two.
Were there two? Okay. I'm not an architect. I don't know what that's all drawing about. So I would just hope that you take the traffic into consideration, and I'd rather have it as businesses instead of apartments. Thank you.
Any other speakers? Not, we can close the public hearing. Comments by our fellow commissioners?
Alex, could you go back to the overall site plan so we can see those two exits?
Yes, Commissioner. So yes, we see an exit on the west side near the center of the site, and there's a driveway on the north side of the site, which is shared with the CCV development, and they'll have 2 access points off of that driveway.
Probably a little early in the process, but I'll assume that this is a right-in and a right-out configuration that we'll be looking at.
Commissioner Robertson, this has not been determined yet. We're still in the process of determining that detail.
Understood.
Mr. Irving?
I think both of these are fine. So I obviously support them because it's going to help traffic. I guess my issue is the same as it was last time, is that I think it would really be helpful if we, as this goes along, present a clear flow, because again, with everything we've approved coming into that area, I would just like to see not the developers, but the city be proactive in all that, and just, to convince our citizens that we've looked at it. There's no question there'll be additional traffic, but, we've looked at lights and all those things. So it's just a suggestion for the city to respond to an ongoing concern we have about that area. But, I think really these are probably going to help it. But again, just to go on record to say it would really be good to be able to come up with I think more of a vision plan about traffic in that area in the next year or so. That's all.
Commissioner Frank?
Yeah, so I'm happy to see this going from the high density to employment as well. I think it's a step in the right direction. I think it makes sense for this area too, especially being next to CCV. Just a point of clarification, maybe I'm missing something. It's agendized, it's 1.69 acres, but I saw on some of the slides it was 3.61.
Commissioner Frank, for the general plan amendment, that will be 1.69 acres.
Just 1.69.
It's a part of the site. About half of the site's already under the employment designation.
Okay, thank you. All right, no other questions?
Mr. Robertson. Comments? The only,
Oh, I'm sorry, you haven't talked.
I was looking at the neighborhood meeting, and we don't have any renderings, and I know that we're talking about the general plan amendment and zoning, but they did make the comment that they would like to see additional colors to the elevations. So I think maybe that's something you might want to consider when we go further down the road with this, okay? Irving.
Yeah, I would move approval of GPA 2210.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I would move approval of 22.
Mr. Chairman.
If I might,
That's right, we haven't had the public hearing.
we need you need to read the agenda item and then open a public hearing.
I'm sorry.
My apologies.
Okay.
It's wonderful.
The third and final item on our agenda here is 5.3 ZON 22-7, public hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall discuss and take action on a request for a zoning map amendment on approximately 3.61 acres, effectively rezoning the site from CB2, which is general business, zoning district, to GC, general commercial zoning district. The site is generally located south of the southeast corner of West Honeycutt Road and North Porter Road. This is for discussion and action. Commissioner, excuse me.
It's a public hearing.
Yep. So the public hearing is open? Yes. Do we have anybody from like to speak? No, then we'll close the public hearing. We have discussion. Can we hear from the city, please?
Commissioner, this is a request for the same item that was presented tonight.
You entertain a motion to do what?
We did close the public hearing.
Yes, we closed the public hearing.
I would move approval of 2207 to amend the zoning map.
We have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Further discussion? Let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I ran out of agenda. Okay, reports from the commission and or staff.
Chairman, Commissioners, thank you very much. I have nothing to add this evening, but we do have one meeting coming up early in November and one meeting early in December that we're tracking along for now as well. And then finally, it's hard to believe, but we just put the January meeting up on the board and are starting direct items there. So with that...
Can you give us those dates?
Do we have them off? Let me pull up a calendar real quick. I just need a calendar. Commission meetings. December 6th, November 4th, 5th. Yeah, November 14th and December 6th, I believe.
11, 14, and 12, 6?
I believe
Okay.
so, sir.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay. If there's no further business.
I'm asking this question for our chair who's not here, and I know you'll probably give me the same answer. Are we any further planning meeting and training session that we've been asking for 9 months?
Apologies. Commissioner Irving, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm asking, we've been asking for, at least some of us have, the need to have maybe a training session and a plan meeting, even if it's not with the city council, but at least just for us. I was just wondering if we're any further along, because every time we ask, somebody says they're working on it. I was just curious if that's going to come about in the...
Yeah, Chairman Yoakum, Commissioners, duly noted, sir. You know, there's a lot of internal workings on this. It doesn't come from just our office. So I can tell you that there have been several different internal discussions already regarding that question. And as soon as I have dates and times available, I will share that with you.
I just wanted our chair who just came in to say I did ask the question. Yeah, that's fine. I was just curious.
And I would just like to make a closing comment that I appreciate your patience with the chairman tonight.
Chairman Yoakum, we faced some significant challenges here at the beginning of this meeting, and you stepped up. Y'all were great this evening, and I just want to say thank you very much for the effort given this evening to all of y'all, especially you, sir.
Thank you. And executive session, I assume we do not have an executive session, so I would like a motion that we adjourn. Second? Discussion? We are adjourned. I guess we have to take a vote. No.